Welcome to What a Creep, the show with Margot Donohue and Sonia Mansfield, talking about creeps from the past to the present.
This is your quick guide to the biggest creeps, jerks, assholes, and losers, the best of the worst.
From two nice ladies who want the world to be a little less creepy.
Welcome back to What a Creep. This is Margot Donohue, and my cohort in creepitude, as always, is the amazing Sonia Mansfield. Hey, Sonia.
Hello, my friend, and happy birthday.
Aw, thank you. Yes, it's my birthday today.
Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. I'm not going to sing the rest of the song. Happy birthday to you.
Well, thank you, and thanks to all of you who sent me your well wishes. I really appreciate it. If this is your first time listening, sorry.
It's not normally our birthday.
No. We are the podcast that talks about creeps from the past to the present. Today, it's very TV flavored, entertainment flavored creepage that we're talking about. You can follow us on all social media. We have a basic Facebook page. That's actually a place where people just go to complain about our language. This is your warning. We use salty language in this program.
Fuck yeah.
We are much more interactive in our private Facebook group. You have to answer a few questions, and you just type in What a Creep podcast group, ask to join. You come on in. Just don't be an asshole, and we'll get along great. And we talk about creeps. We talk about pop culture, things happening in the news. Also, a lot of stuff for our other show, Dorking Out, we post there. So it's a nice place on Facebook to hang out.
It's the best place.
It's the only place Sonia will go on Facebook.
Correct.
Right.
Correct.
We're on Twitter, Threads, and Instagram, What a Creep Podcast. I'm sorry. Twitter is CreepPod because somebody had What a Creep for 10 years and never used it. Y'all, I had lunch today, which I never do. I went for lunch for my birthday and I had a glass of wine. So I'm a little loosey-goosey today.
It's all good. It's all good. It's your birthday. You drink all the wine.
What a Creep Podcast on social media. That would be Instagram and Threads and Blue Sky. We have an old-timey email, whatacreeppodcast@gmail.com, and send us your suggestions for creeps and also non-creeps. And this is the time for me to tell you, we always end the show with someone who is not a creep, so you don't feel horrible about the world and what's happening to it. It's not all a huge dumpster fire. A lot of it is, but not all.
Yeah, it feels like it right now, but not all of it.
Just so you know, eggplant parmesan, y'all, that will solve a lot of your problems.
At least for a little while.
It really will. Sonia, do you want to tell them about the website?
Yes, go to whatacreeppodcast.com, and it's everything you ever wanted to know about our podcast, but we're afraid to ask. There are links to all of our past episodes, and in each of those little blog posts are all of our show notes because we source everything we do. We want to give people credit for the work. So you could go there if you're looking for a deeper dive. That's a fabulous place to start. I've got some really great sources for this episode today. That if you're looking for some fun, there's some fun stuff in there. Also, there's a link to our merch shop where you can get t-shirts and tote bags and face masks and journals and all kinds of awesome stuff. There's also a link to our Substack where we have a monthly newsletter. It's usually me just ranting about something that's in the news, and then maybe some recommendations of things we're watching, reading, or listening to. And there's our Patreon. You want to tell them about that, Margot?
Yes, we have a Patreon page, like a lot of people do, Patreon. We have our first 8 seasons up there, and we also put out 2 bonus episodes a month, where it's kind of like The View, where they talk about hot topics or fixing famous people. You know, a lot of people do that.
Yeah.
That's what we do on our bonus eps. And I want to thank Jessica and Shannon for joining recently. And Jessica, I know you've had some problems finding us on Patreon or getting that stuff to work. Please let me know that it is working for you. And look, if money's tight, we totally understand. If you could just, wherever you're subscribing to the podcast, if you can leave us a positive review and a few stars, that'd be amazing. I want to thank Brooklyn Listener for leaving us 5 stars. We totally appreciate it.
Thank you, Brooklyn Listener. Who could that be?
Wink, wink. Also, Spotify, on Good Pods, we've been doing really well. So yeah, all those places, please do that. And I forgot to mention, at our email, whatacreeppodcast@gmail.com, that is also a place to request stickers. I will send stickers to you wherever you are on the planet of Earth. We've had a few people
adorable.
Lately.
Everybody
are adorable.
drink.
They are adorable. Everybody drink. Okay. I think that is everything.
Yeah. You ready?
I think so. Ooh, boy. Sonia, who are we talking about this week?
we are going to be talking about Kirk Cameron and his sister, Candace Cameron
Brue.
Brue. Sorry, I kept typing it as like Brew in my notes. So it doesn't matter because from this point on, they're Kirk and Candace. So there you go. That's who we're talking about. We're going to be sources, advocate, biography for both of them. The fabulous Fundy Friday on YouTube.
Ooh.
If you want to go and watch, she's doing the Lord's work in there. She may not like that I use the term Lord's work, but she's watched all of his movies and random shit that Kirk Cameron has done, so I don't have to. Bless you, Fundy Friday. So it's a fun watch. I also went to Goodreads to read reviews of a lot of their books. So the links are in there. Media Matters, Politico, Salon, Showbiz Sheet. Sorry, cheat sheet.
Meep meep.
Meep meep. Variety, Wonkette, and of course, always Wikipedia. They're always in there. So Kirk Cameron, I'm sure if you are younger, you may not remember this, but he was in a sitcom in the 80s called Growing Pains. This made him like a teenage heartthrob. He was in all the teen magazines. I'll be honest, he was never my guy. I was always a Jason Bateman girly, but that's like, he was everywhere.
I was Michael J. Fox. It's the same thing.
It is.
Yeah.
And then his sister, Candace, of course, was on Full House, a show I never watched because it was part of that like TGI Friday lineup on ABC. Yeah, I was too old. I was working at the movie theater every Friday night. I didn't watch that stuff. But it was both of those shows were huge hits. Mm-hmm. Like they were massive hits for ABC. But at some point in their life, they got really into like Evangelical Christian. They got on the train, whoop, whoop, and really started using that as an excuse for homophobia. And they love to talk about, how God provides salvation, but they really use God a lot for deflection. Very cool stuff. So we're going to start at the beginning. I'm going to give you a little bio on each of them, and then we'll just get into it.
Okay.
So Kirk Cameron, born October 12th, 1970. He is 10 days younger than me, y'all.
What?
He's just a baby. Oh, no, he's not. He was born in Panorama City, California, to Barbara, his mom, who is a child actor agent. Mm-hmm. And his father, Robert, who worked as a gym teacher, I assume until they both got famous. And then, like, the kids became the sole support of the family.
You know, when I was a kid, I wanted to be a gym teacher.
Really?
I was like, yeah, you just get to throw dodgeballs at them and make them run laps. Whip the whistle around your hand one way and then the other way. Yeah. Like being a lifeguard. Yeah. I was like, oh, that sounds pretty good.
I love bossing around
just wear
kids.
shorts and
great.
Yeah, this would be okay.
Yeah, why not? He is one of 4 children. And of course, like we're going to talk about Cameron in a minute. Kirk began acting around 9 years old. He was doing commercials. He started doing like guest appearances on other TV shows and sitcoms. And then he got his big break as Mike Seaver on Growing Pains. Again, if you haven't seen it, it's pretty typical
it's
family
typical
sitcom.
Yeah,
it had
80s.
Alan Thicke, Joanna Kearns. Later seasons, they brought in Leonardo DiCaprio as like a kid they adopted or something. I had moved on by then,
and she had a baby at like 45 or something. Like that's one of the tropes of the show of those sitcoms. Like at some point when the teenager when he goes off to college, they bring in a young kid. It's like Oliver and Brady Bunch.
On the Brady Bunch, yes, exactly that. So, and the show also had Tracy Gold, who. She went on to like all the TV movies. She was like a TV movie queen for a while. Anyway, Kirk did a few movies. He did like Father Like Son, which is one of those like body switching movies.
I like that
80s.
movie, by the way. I love body switching movies. I watched that one.
Yeah,
with Dudley
there
Moore.
was a ton. Yeah, with Dudley Moore. There was also one called Vice Versa with Fred Savage and Judge Reinhold. There was later we got like a Freaky Friday remake. There was the Freaky Friday. Anyway, there was a bunch of the 18 again. Chances are.
Yep.
So many. It was a thing. But he was never able to like really make that transition from TV to movie. He was not like a Michael J. Fox. Like that did not happen for him. So when he's 17, he had he was interested in this girl, and she was super religious. And so he started going to church, and then he started getting really like devout about his religion. He claims he was atheist before this. I think that's just something they say to be like, I didn't believe and now I believe, whatever. So the last couple seasons of Growing Pains, he started to distance himself from the cast, and then he just continued to get like more and more religious, and then he kept pushing back on the writers on storylines that he believed were like too racy or too adult. Now, trust me, there was nothing racy about Growing Pains.
It's like Lisa Whelchel did that on The Facts of Life.
Yeah.
She was like, because she was like in her 20s, and then all of a sudden one of them had sex, and she was like 25 or something. She's like, well, I won't be on the set that day.
Yeah, it's ridiculous.
Yeah.
Honestly, the raciest thing about Growing Pains was Mike Seaver's best friend. His name was Boner. That's the race. That's the raciest thing that was on Growing Pains. So it's ridiculous. Anyway, at one point, there's an actress on the show named Julie McCullough. She played Mike Seaver's girlfriend, and like, I believe those characters actually got engaged. And then she decided to pose for Playboy. And well, that goes against Kirk's morals. So he didn't want himself or his character affiliated with someone like that. So he got her fired. He says that's not what happened.
Bullshit.
She says that's exactly what happened.
He was the big star of the show. Him and Alan Thicke were the big stars. Yeah.
Yes. Absolutely.
Alan Thicke was actually a big star at one time.
Yes. Yes, he was. So then in 91, he was 21 years old or 20 years old at this point. He actually married his on-screen girlfriend, who played his girlfriend after the other one got fired. Her name is Chelsea Noble. She was 26 at the time. They have 6 children together. I think 4 of them are adopted and 2 are like natural born. I think that's the correct way to refer to that. And then he goes even further into like the evangelical rabbit hole, if you will, and he hooks up with someone named Ray Comfort, and they start running this religious organization called Way of the Master.
What?
You'll never guess who the master is.
Who's the master, Sonia?
It's Jesus. It's Jesus. You're never going to... If you're wondering who's the boss, that's Tony Danza. That's a totally different sitcom. Way of the Master is about Jesus.
Gotcha.
So, and we're going to talk a little bit about that all in a minute. He did do he did a lot of religious movies. He did like the Left Behind film series that's, I guess, popular in that realm.
Yes. Hugely popular.
He did one called Fireproof. And then, of course, he famously did one called Saving Christmas, which I looked it up, currently has 0% on Rotten Tomatoes. So
they used to not have money. And lately they've been funded by billionaires, but they used to be so shoddy.
Yes.
I mean, looking.
Yeah. If Saving Christmas has fans, none of them are critics because, again, 0%. So now we go to Candace. Candace, born April 6th, 1976. She started acting at 5. You know, her brother had already paved the way at this point. She had guest roles on like Alice. Remember Alice?
Loved Alice.
Kiss my
used
grits.
Sad, used to be shy. Oh, I'll sing all the jingles, all the themes to you.
Oh, she was also on Who's the Boss? She made a film. She did Some Kind of Wonderful. She was in there.
That's right. Oh my God.
In that way, she's actually more successful than her brother, movie-wise.
She's beautiful too.
Yeah.
Very pretty.
Then she does 11 years old, 1987. She does Full House. Again, I was working, so I didn't really watch it, but that show's insanely popular. And here in San Francisco, like, it's got a special place in people's heart because, like, it was set in San Francisco. The whole opening is in San Francisco. And they didn't film the show here, so like whatever. But
it's like
people love
Nightcrawler.
it.
people always had a fondness for that because it was filmed in San Francisco. Yeah, or streets of
Yeah.
San Francisco. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, so some shows actually were. So Nash Bridges was actually filmed here a lot. I think Streets of San Francisco might have actually filmed here a lot. What was the other one? No,
Midnight Caller.
Anyway. Yeah, Midnight. I used to love that show.
I did too. Gary Cole.
Yeah. So we don't really have shows like that anymore. Anyway, so she did that show till 95, and then she really made that transition to like Lifetime Hallmark movie regular. Like she made a ton of those. And those movies, they have fans. Like,
yeah, I'm one of them.
Yeah, like they used to call them like women in danger movies, and then
Mother May I Sleep with Danger?
Yeah, Mother May I Sleep with those kinds of movies. And by the way, they're entertaining AF.
Yeah.
Like if you're coming here to like shit on those movies, you're not going to find your people here. Like they are very entertaining. She's also like the queen of like the holiday movies, which I also super love. She recently has returned to Full House. They're doing Fuller House on Netflix. Again, I've never watched it. I know it has a laugh track. That's how old school this show is. Laugh tracks or whatever. She got married to like a professional hockey player. I totally didn't write his name down. But his last name is Bure. So
He's
there you go.
French Canadian, right?
Yes. Yes. She's had a couple of kids. And then she like kind of, after having those children, she fully committed herself to like evangelical Christian and kind of took a little hiatus from acting and was really focusing on like being a good Christian and a mother. She's written several books, stuff about like, it's one called Reshaping It All, Motivation for Physical and Spiritual Fitness. Balancing It All, My Story of Juggling Priorities and Purpose. And then she's written some like children's books that's like Candace Center Stage and Candace's Playful Puppy. Oh my God. I don't know why that didn't want to come out.
She didn't play with Puffy. No.
I'm sorry, everyone. I don't know why that didn't want to come out right. Anyway, she also worked as like a columnist for Christian Women Online, which I'm sure is a joy to read. And she also used to have a blog, which I guess is now deleted. And she used to advocate for something called blanket training. Do you know what blanket training is?
I'm the childless one. No.
Okay. I also didn't know what this was, but the Duggars were also very into this. And the idea that you place your baby on a blanket and then you kind of entice them to leave the blanket with toys and food. And then when you do, you punish them.
How do you punish them?
Hitting.
Babies?
Yes.
What?
Yes. With the idea that this way you can leave. I was like, they're treating these babies like dogs. Like the
That's
idea that you can
confusing.
Yes.
You're supposed to be
Yes.
protecting me, right?
Yes.
So you're going to
Yes.
trick me and then hit me.
Yes.
But I'm supposed to trust you.
Yes. Makes perfect
That's
sense.
so fucked up.
Yeah, it's super fucked up. She wrote about it on her blog. Again, the blog has since been deleted, but you could go on the internet's way back machine and find things. Fundy Friday found it for me because, again, she's doing the Lord's work. So we're going to go back to Kirk a little bit here and talk about the way of the master.
Please.
So it's a whole Christian evangelical ministry. Of course it is, because they don't want to pay taxes, right? So you got to start your own religion. And it's run by New Zealand-born Ray Comfort, and then Kirk Cameron is like one of the leaders. And then there's also this like radio host named Todd Friel. I don't know shit about him, but I'm sure he sucks too. So they did like a television show, a radio show. They do the books, the like webinars, so you could take classes online, training courses. They have their website. By the way, their SEO is fucking good. You Google Kirk Cameron and it's all way of the master shit. Like they have legit SEO. You have to be very specific in your Google search. So most recently, Comfort's been out there whining about how Christians, aren't allowed to refer to homosexuality as morally wrong without being punished. They want us all to know how they're the ones really being persecuted. I'm like, fuck off with this shit. According to Friday Fundy or Fundy Friday, I want to give her all the credit because, again, she watched this shit, so I don't have to. They used to do like a TV show, like a Way of the Master TV show, and it was really like Ray Comfort and Kirk Cameron would like do like man on the street interviews.
Oh god.
And basically harass people. It was like bad faith arguments about religion and like, do you think you followed the 10 commandments? Well, if you even think about other women, then you've committed adultery and like, just all this stupid it's bad faith arguments. I also want to mention Comfort wrote a book. He's written more than 80 books. And one of them has this title, You Can Lead an Atheist to Evidence, but You Can't Make Him Think.
Oh, clever.
Hardy, har, har, har. You really got me, Comfort. so stupid. Another thing that Ray Comfort did that I thought was shitty. This whole episode isn't about Ray Comfort, but I have to point it out. He sent out appointment cards to elderly people advising them of their future time and death and that they should contact him to avoid going to hell.
Sorry.
What a fucking asshole.
He should have tried my grandparents. Asshole. They would have fucked him up.
What an asshole.
That is some really fucked up stuff.
Recently, Way of the Master has rebranded to something called Living Waters. Sounds gross. Living Waters, I would never drink that. Also has like a publishing house, and they publish a lot of these like shitty Christian books that you're seeing going around. And one of the people who sits on the board is House Speaker and conservative nut job Mike Johnson.
Oh, that guy.
Whee! This is a publishing house that recently released a book that said that monkeypox is like punishment for gay people being gay and referred to President Obama as the Antichrist. All super normal stuff.
Right.
Awesome. Kirk Cameron is also like BFFs with Jerry Falwell Jr. who runs Liberty University. We are going to do an episode on this. I've been trying to figure out a way. There's so much there that I'm like, I would have to like break it up. Because originally I was like, I'm going to do the Father and the Son. That sounded wrong. And the Holy Ghost. No. I was like, do I just do the Father, then cover the Son, and then cover the university? Do I cover just the university? Do I break it up into 3 parts? There's so much creepitude. I don't know where to start. But it's going to happen. Also, like, there's an amazing documentary on Hulu about the Falwells if you want to watch it. He's also friends with the conservative shithead like Charlie Kirk.
Oh, that genius.
Yeah, he's so smart.
Ugh.
And Kirk is also, of course, friends with the Duggar family because, of course, he is. Yes, he's friends with the who's who of who's the fucking worst. Like, he really is. And we've already done an episode about them. All right, let's talk about both of their creepy stuff, Kirk and Candace. So in 2012, Kirk went on one of our past creeps, Pierce Morgan's show, and made Pierce Morgan look like the sensible one by claiming that homosexuality, that's his words, by the way, because when people use the word homosexuality, they're telling on themselves that it's unnatural and ultimately destructive. And then after people got pissed about it, Kirk apologized. Just kidding. He blamed the liberal press. It was the liberal press's fault.
I just want to hate people that are different. That's all.
Look, I just want to hate people that are different without repercussions.
I just want to be a bigot.
All.
What's the big deal?
Yeah. It's my right to be a bigot and not be punished. That's what the First Amendment is to these people. So anyway, you know, he loves to like talk about, he'll go on any talk show that will have him, like all conservative talk shows, by the way, because normal talk shows won't have him. So like, and he pushes this myth that like America is like a Christian nation and that like we should be enforcing our Christian beliefs on everybody. And it's quite the opposite. He should read some stuff. He should do a little reading. He would learn that that's actually not true. Kirk and his wife went on a whole like love worth fighting for tour. And it's kind of a like marriage therapy thing. It's like, are you ready to learn about marriage? Woo! And there was all kinds of really important shit about like how wives are all about like they should be honoring and respecting and following their husband's lead, never telling their husband how he should be a better husband. Like it's all about being submissive to a man.
Trad wives.
Yes.
Ugh.
Yes.
I
All
like
of
baking
that.
bread. I don't want to be the breadwinner.
Yes. Exactly that.
Which, fine. If that's what you want to do with your life, fine. I don't fucking care. But don't force that shit on everybody else.
Yes. Exactly. And by the way, I'm sure, like, hey, if people are paying to go to, like, a fucking marriage therapy arena tour hosted by Kirk Cameron and his wife, then I'm sure, like, you know what you're paying for. Also, by the way, just randomly, I didn't put this in my notes, but like I read that in his movies that he makes, he won't kiss any other actress other than his wife.
Yeah.
Like only his wife. And I'm like, okay, like that's a thing. But apparently that's not true for her. So she does other movies. She'll kiss other men.
Oh, really?
Yeah. I'm like,
she's,
yeah, she's like, please, bitch, please. Like, nobody wants to just only kiss Kirk Cameron for the rest of the
what? And by the way, he's legitimately handsome and looks great.
He is.
He looks incredible.
He does.
He looks
absolutely.
great. He's a very handsome guy, very attractive.
Yes.
Yeah.
All those things. But like, ew.
Because a couple people have said that. Oh, he
me.
looks good. I'm like, yeah, he does actually. But he makes.
But then when you talk to him, you're like the attractive.
Yeah.
The attractive meter goes.
Your boner goes down.
Yeah, exactly. He's a boner killer. Not the character. I'm sure the actor who played Boner is just fine. I would hate to insinuate.
How on earth did they get away with having a character called Boner? Because we knew what boners were in the 80s.
I don't know.
Isn't that incredible?
I know. And I remember watching Growing Pains with my dad, and my dad would actually like almost every time like Boner showed up, my dad would be like, Boner. Like every time. Because it's so stupid.
I cannot picture my father sitting through that show for 5 seconds. Like the picture of your dad, it's like,
yeah. My dad's like super tough guy, macho guy.
Yeah, he's a hunter.
And he's a hunter. And we all watched TV. We had one TV growing up. So we all watched TV as a family. And like, there were certain shows that we all watched together. And like, we watched a lot of like Growing Pains and Family Ties.
Yes, the sitcoms,
Yeah. My dad didn't like The Cosby Show or Different World when that was on, but like,
I wonder why.
Oh, he loved. I think we know exactly why. He liked Cheers, stuff like that.
I love Cheers. Yeah.
Night Court.
Yeah.
Night Court was my favorite.
Oh, it's the best. Bull.
I loved it. Loved it
Marsha
so much.
Warfield.
Thought Dan Larroquette was like the funniest thing ever.
He still is.
I loved Night Court. And of course, you and I have always talked about how much we love WKRP in Cincinnati.
The best show ever.
Yeah. Okay. This show isn't about sitcoms.
No, sorry.
There you go.
We get sidetracked sometimes.
Yeah, sometimes. He did a CNN interview where he went on about like, his pro-life stance and, even if you're raped or there's incest, it's like too bad.
That's
too bad for you. Yeah. And then he went on to say like, if that happened to his daughter, he would still make her like carry the baby. But I don't know. These assholes always say shit like that. And then it actually happens and they don't do that. So whatever.
And maybe she's her own person and do what she wants to do.
No, how dare you?
Right.
How dare you? She would never be her own person. No, I'm sure she absolutely could be. And I hope she is someday. Candace, our girl Candace, co-hosted The View for like a season.
Yes.
Do you remember this?
Oh, yeah. I have friends that are obsessed with The View. So, and I do follow the hashtag on Twitter.
Yeah.
Because Whoopi is insane.
Right. Candace, like, was one of the people. She was their like they always have like a token conservative on there.
They're
who,
usually
like,
blonde, but yeah.
usually blonde, really pretty. Again, a lot of bad faith arguments, et cetera, et cetera. And here comes Candace to like defend the Oregon bakery that wouldn't bake a wedding cake for a gay couple and tried to claim that it wasn't because of their sexual orientation. It was just because of their sexual orientation and that they were getting married, and marriage is between a man and a woman. And it's pretty impressive to watch the clip and watch her claim that it's not about the fact that they're gay, but at the same time saying it's because they're gay. It's pretty impressive. And that's so Raven was there, Raven, and she's
Who's gay?
going, yeah, who was like, I'm choosing not to associate with you right now.
Right.
She was like, basically. Another time, oh my God, this is the third appearance now of Who's the Boss? Who's the Boss star? Danny Pintiero, I think is how you pronounce it. He played the youngest son.
He played the youngest son who
He's so cute.
Adorable. Everybody
He was
drink.
adorable.
He was
adorable.
Tiny little thing.
Yes.
And it was when he came out as gay.
Yeah.
Biggest not a shock ever.
Yeah. There's some people that come out and you're like, yeah.
Yeah,
duh.
dude, we saw that. Yeah.
Fucking like, remember when Rosie O'Donnell kept pretending she wasn't gay? She's like, I have a crush on Tom Cruise. And we were like, bitch, please.
My boss was in those meetings at PMK, like deciding when she was going to come out and where. Yeah. That used to be a
DeGeneres. Yeah. Ellen DeGeneres was another one. Like,
that's so 90s, by the way. That's like people really had campaigns to do all that.
Yes.
And they had to,
and then
because people were assholes.
And if you roll it back, like people like Elton John and Liberace, you're like, what? What? But there was a time where like people were like, no, they're super straight.
Elton came out
like,
as bisexual
in
1976 and almost lost his career. And it's like, have y'all been not paying attention to what this man is doing on stage?
Yes.
In his heels.
I love it. I love that, like, there was a time when Elton John and Liberace and people were like, no, man, they're super into pussy. They love pussy. Like, they're such pussy hounds.
Elton got married.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm like, come on. Anyway, so he comes out. That's not what this is about. But, like, at a certain point, like, he had tested positive for HIV, and he goes on The View, and he is talking about it. Like, he's trying to raise awareness. He's like, you know, it's still a thing that people can get, and everyone should be being careful. And here comes fucking Candace, you know, to be like, well, do you take responsibility for your actions? And he's like, 100%. He meets her halfway. Like, he's fully polite to her. And, like, she's like, you know, she says, for being promiscuous, for going into a lifestyle of having a heightened sex, because of the meth you were using, like all this stuff. And he's just like, yeah, all the shaming. And he's just like, I'm here to like, I am taking accountability for my actions. And he's like, I'm trying to like raise awareness. It was so fucking shitty. Like, she couldn't wait to like get on her high horse and be like, see, this is what happens.
What a condescending douchebag.
I know. Absolutely.
Her prettiness is going down. She's getting
for sure.
Yeah.
She's also a boner killer.
Yes.
Sorry, boner. So in 2017, here in America, we had two really big hurricanes that hit Florida and Texas, and like they killed like more than 100 people. It was serious, like did tons of damage. And Kirk goes on TV and said that it was God was punishing people for, you know, because the gays exist.
And abortion, I'm sure. And
yeah. It should also go without saying that Kirk is anti-mask. You know, at the height of the COVID pandemic, he hosted like a whole fucking like Christmas caroling event with all like a super spreader event, you know, that exposed a lot of people to COVID.
Right.
That were just like in the vicinity of where they were. It's just so shitty. Like, you know, and of course Candace is like, I'm like, how do I say this? She's not anti-vax, but she's definitely pro anti-vax. Like,
So she vaccinates her kids, or she did
But
she doesn't now.
refuses. She refuses to
disclose.
divulge whether
Which
people.
she doesn't. Well, I mean, technically, no, you don't have to. But
Yeah.
But we were talking about this about the safety of those around you.
Yeah.
You
Yeah,
can
and
carry
then
something that somebody else can catch.
Yes. And she'll put, she'll post things that are like, it's not about what I'm against, it's what I'm for. And it's, I'm for medical freedom and for parental rights. And parental rights are fucking dog whistle words for like, I want to hate on other people and hide behind parental rights, or I want to do the wrong things and claim parental rights.
You're
Like,
not gonna. You're not the boss of me.
Yes.
Yeah.
Exactly. It's really shitty. Kirk also did like a documentary about homeschooling. This was like in 2022, and homeschooling definitely saw an increase after the pandemic. So there was
Absolutely.
probably a lot of people that were like, "Hey, a documentary about homeschooling."
And I
Like,
know
maybe
some
I
people
could
have been
learn.
homeschooled, and they're fine. I mean, it just depends
Yeah.
on where you live and what kind of access you have. But it's
Yes.
also who's teaching you and who's
Yes.
in charge of it. Yeah.
Yeah. I've known people that do homeschooling and they like do it with like other parents and they
Right.
like rotate it and it's if you have the time and
Yeah.
the means.
And some
Like-
kids, they just do better. Like everybody
Yeah.
makes the big deal, like, oh, they got to socialize with other teenagers. I went to school. Teenagers aren't
Yeah.
that great. I mean,
Also, yeah, really, a lot of them are the worst. Look, everybody learns differently.
right.
That's the thing. And I was like, I'm not here to shit on homeschooling.
No, I think it gets demonized.
It does.
Yeah.
But I will also say,
Yes.
like, if you're homeschooling and you're doing it because you think public schooling is, quote, advocating for a far left agenda and pushing critical race theory and so-called gender ideology and all these things, quote unquote, like,
Sex ed
Fuck
and
off.
civil rights history.
yes.
Yeah.
Exactly. It's like, hey, I'm trying to teach my kid how to be a white supremacist, and you teaching them facts is really fucking ruining that for me.
It makes my son feel bad for being white,
Yeah.
which,
Which, by the way, isn't a thing.
no.
This is not a thing. If there are kids that are coming home and they're like, hey, I learned about slavery today and that makes me feel bad for being white. First of all, congrats on having some empathy. Like,
Right.
that's fucking dope. You're raising a normal human. And also, like, I don't know, have a fucking conversation with your kid
Tell them about
white
history.
privilege.
What happened? Just say what fucking really happened and
So
how
much
we've
of this-
evolved.
Yes. So much is like, I don't want to have hard conversations with my kid. And therefore,
Or I don't want to think about it too much either.
Yeah.
Yeah.
so how dare you?
How
And
dare
therefore,
you?
how dare you, sir? I said good day.
I said good day, sir.
And he goes on TV because he loves to go on TV any chance he gets. And he says that like the things that are destroying the family, destroying the church, destroying love of our great country, critical race theory, teaching kids to pick their pronouns, deciding whether they want to be a boy or a girl, and the 1619 Project. Learning about history is destroying our country. Things that are actually hurting kids, by the way,
Guns.
gun violence, anti-vaxxers, bullying, intolerance. But sure, go off,
Measles.
shithead. Measles. No kidding.
Bullying.
So after one of many school shootings we've had in this country, because we have so fucking many, I couldn't narrow it down.
Right.
Dick's Sporting Goods, which, by the way, that's really the name of the store. It's Dick's Sporting
Do you have any
Goods.
friends named Dick? I do.
I have an Uncle Dick.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I'm like, sorry, Uncle Dick. Like, how unfortunate. But here we go. Dick's Sporting Goods decided not to be dicks, and they issued a statement that says, like, hey, we're not selling guns anymore. We're not contributing to this problem. And actress Kristen Bell, she did like Veronica Mars. She's like the voice in Frozen, whatever. The Good Place. She's in The Good Place. She reposts their statement, and she's like, yeah, more of this. Like,
Well,
hey,
yeah.
less thoughts and prayers, more like
Action.
Yeah.
or at least not be a part of the problem.
Yeah. Yes, exactly. And here comes Candace, but how about instead of diminishing prayers, which are powerful, you could recaption this as, in addition to prayers, here's something really great.
He's telling her to do that?
Candace told Kristen Bell to do
fuck
that.
you.
It's in her Instagram. Like it's there for all to see.
How about in addition to that, you go fuck yourself and don't.
That's exactly what I wrote. I literally wrote, how about you fuck all the way off? Like, fuck you. Like, acting like the prayers are the real fucking victims here.
And they're
like,
that helpful. Sorry. But
yeah.
look,
what a
we've
shitty
all
garbage
prayed for
take.
things that didn't work out. All of us.
Why don't you pray for your fucking career? What a stupid bitch.
What a cunt.
So in 2021, Candace announced that she's no longer going to make holiday movies for Hallmark Channel because Hallmark Channel had the nerve to make holiday movies with the gays.
Who
How
love
dare
holiday
you.
movies, by the way. Like,
Yes,
it makes
by the way.
perfect sense.
Yes,
Women and gays love those movies.
Hello, we have a holiday movie channel on my work Slack. It's all women and gays. That's we're all in there. Like, did you watch the Lindsay Lohan holiday movie? Like, hello, that's the audience, you stupid bitch. So she was super offended by this. So she's like, I'm joining the Great American Family Channel. Even with a name like that, they might as well call it like Make America Great Again Family Channel. Like, that's totally what it is. Not only is she like making movies for them, she's also got the title Chief Creative Officer, which I'm sure is 100% a real job. And not just
she's a brand ambassador,
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah. And she issued a statement that's like, my heart wants to tell stories that have more meaning and purpose and depth behind them.
Oh, sure.
I knew that. Yeah, that must be it. I think the Great American Family will keep traditional marriage at the core.
Which means no gays allowed.
Yes.
What about interracial marriage?
I don't know. We could go to the website and find out.
Or I won't.
Or I won't because
I pretty much know.
Yeah. Yeah. By the way, I tried to be really careful with my clicks here too, where I was like,
Right.
I'm not looking to give them any of my cookies, if you will.
We have both screwed up our YouTube channels sometimes, like doing research,
Yes.
and then you get, ugh.
Yeah. And by
You
the way,
might like Kid
I
Rock.
I share a YouTube channel with my kid, and my kid's like, don't watch that. Don't watch that Kirk Cameron video, son. Trying to save you. Talk about brainwashing.
Oy.
Yeah, I mean, the whole translation is, hey, like, no gays allowed. It's really shitty, And by the way, Hallmark, for their, to their credit, are like, we want all viewers to see themselves represented in our movies, as they should. So go ahead and
Once again, women and gays love Hallmark movies.
Yeah.
They love the trashiest ones. They love the good ones. We like the TLCs,
Yep.
the all the bands that they talk about and they recast or, yes. We love
all
that
of it.
shit. Yeah.
Could you imagine? It would be like saying like, I can't, like, I don't know, like being surprised that the gays like Bravo shows. Like,
It's
hello?
like going to a Taylor Swift concert and just being shocked how nice everybody is. There's no aggro anything.
All these women like Taylor Swift. What?
No one's shoving each other. No one's getting wasted and getting into fights. Right.
Yeah. So then after, she issues this statement, she got a huge backlash, obviously. And then she immediately apologized. She didn't. She blamed it on toxic culture. Because again, they could never, it breaks my heart that anyone think I want to hurt and offend people.
You're thinking, it's not my thinking that sucks. It's the world that does. And believe me, I feel like that sometimes too. But come on, it's based in bigotry.
Yes.
That's all.
Like, yeah, you are persecuting me for being garbage. How dare you? How dare you? It's the culture. She's real dumb, by the way. Like, after this whole thing came out, she went on TikTok and she did one of those videos where she's lip syncing and it's like, is it me? Am I the drama? I don't think I'm the drama. Maybe I am. Am I the villain? By the way, that's from RuPaul's Drag Race. You don't get to use that, bitch.
Right. You don't get to co-opt gay culture.
Yes,
right.
Yes. The caption on the video, by the way, said, when you're a conservative in Hollywood.
Oh, wow. Adam Sandler does just fucking fine.
Yes.
Yeah, there's people
Exactly.
that lots of conservative people, and they do just fine.
Yes.
Because they're smart enough to not shit on the gays. They just go right to their own audience.
Yes.
Right.
Yeah, just shut your mouth. Just shut it.
Just enjoy the things you enjoy.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And not shit on people for what they like or who they are.
Yes.
Right.
And if you feel that strongly, then these are the repercussions.
Or you might get yelled at. And that's,
Yeah. Too bad. Trust me, if I went into a church and said a bunch of shitty things about the church and people yelled at me, I'd probably fucking deserve it. And by probably, I mean definitely. Mm-hmm. Like, that's not, guess what? I wouldn't be reading The Room.
Exactly.
I would be a huge asshole, even though I want to do it real bad. Not to be outdone, Kirk super cares about family values too. He's written a few children's books. I don't want to read them. So I went and read all the reviews because that's fun for me. And I don't know, there's positive reviews, by the way, but in general, most of them seem to think that they're poorly written and not really for children. Surprise.
Yeah.
They're political talking points disguised as stories for kids. But then there's also people that are like, I like it. My kid, liberals, blah, 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 5 stars. But in general, a lot of librarians are like, it's poorly written and kids don't like it. And I'm like, seems right. Last year, Kirk and a whole bunch of notable creeps like Sean Spicer and Libs of TikTok, past episode, Chaya Reichik, went on a Freedom Island tour. And they went to and I'm quoting, win back story hour and stand up for truth and biblical values. So they were
read the fucking Bible, by the way. It's pretty gruesome.
Yeah, no, I'm sure they've only read the edited version.
Which parts do you like, Donald Trump? The New Testament, the Old Testament? Oh, both. They're both equal.
I love them all.
Love them all. Read his best book.
So good. What this tour was sponsored by a publishing company called Brave Books. Brave.
I was surprised not Hay House.
Yeah. They're all about, pro-God, pro-American values, quote unquote.
Rest of the world can go fuck themselves with their values.
Yeah,
Eat
exactly.
shit, Australia.
Suck it, New Zealand.
Denmark, go fuck yourself.
They literally say in their websites and shit, it's like, we want to empower your children against woke culture. Yeah. So they do their book tour. They purposely targeted libraries that had hosted drag story hours.
Sure, because that's the problem.
And almost all of these libraries either told them no or ignored the request because they don't want hateful crap that makes children feel bad in their library, which is a legitimate thing. And then
they're allowed to say no, by the way.
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah, people are allowed to ignore your email.
Yeah, Kirk immediately ran to Fox News to be like, see?
I'm a victim.
See? They're so intolerant. They're so tolerant of drag, but not of my hateful bullshit. Wah! Big baby. And the Brave Books founder comes out and he's like, it's devastating to discover that many of our publicly funded libraries have now become indoctrination centers.
They cannot possibly, by the way, as somebody who's pitched books for book tours and shit, they cannot say yes to everything. There is simply not enough time. They don't have enough staff. They have to pick things that they think people will fucking go to. That's their job.
Yeah.
And they get requests all the time, every day. Bookstores are shutting down. Like it's, those big book chains, Borders and stuff. So yeah, they're overwhelmed with requests. So they have to figure out what works with this neighborhood, with the community that I'm in. That's it. They're allowed to say no.
Yeah. Also,
Jesus.
your hateful bullshit isn't a difference of opinion, as
No,
we've
it's-
established. Like,
it's
you're
just
going to
wrong.
come here and fucking shit on people? Fuck off.
Right.
By the way, the drag story hours, which I have absolutely taken my kid to back in the day, they're not there going, and then, Ronald Reagan said, "Bleh," and then we all killed it. Like, they're not doing that. They're reading like stories kids actually enjoy.
Right.
These assholes are writing stuff that actually indoctrinates people. Like, they can fuck all the way off. A lot of these so then of course Fox News is like, hey, these libraries aren't doing what we fucking want. So then those libraries immediately started receiving threats and bomb threats. And one of the librarians actually lost her job.
And it is not easy to get a library job.
No.
And you have to have your master's in library science. Like,
Yes.
It's not.
I know. So I have like librarian friends. It's not an easy job to get. You don't just get to be at a library. Yeah, like books are over there. Like they're really, really smart people who like have master's degrees. Like these people suck. And he's always going on like on like Fox and Friends, and he's like, join the movement, and we need to be one nation under God, quote unquote, or the nation's gonna go under.
That's not indoctrinating.
Yeah, right. He recently released an anti-gay like book called Pride Comes Before the Fall. He released it. This was last year on the first day of Pride Month.
Of course he did.
Because he's
He's a
yeah,
dick.
of course he did. He's just a huge dick. He's got a new one out that's called The Fox, the Fair, and the Invention Scare. It's like
The what
anti-science invention. It's like
He's
anti-science.
against inventions?
Apparently, because it's science, and science you might learn something, and we don't want people to learn something.
That was makes me think of Thomas Dolby, by the way. Science!
Science.
We're
We're gonna blind you with science.
Good God, Miss Lily, you're beautiful!
Beautiful. And that's our creeps, Kirk and Candace Cameron.
Oh, God, Sonia, you did such a good job.
Thank you. They suck.
They suck. You didn't even go into all the evolution shit that he's like, because that's like another hour.
Exactly. Short version is he and his gross, like, Ray Comfort friend took Darwin's Origin of the Species, and they ripped out certain chapters and then replaced it with their, like, shitty takes, and then tried to pass it off as, like, hey, we're giving out free
Copies.
books. And then people would take them, and, like, there's all this religious shit, and it's really
And they would get in their
stupid.
face like, do you understand how dishonest this is? Like, this is lying what you're doing when you do that. And he had, like, no defense.
No.
But
Which is weird, because I'm pretty sure that's not what God would want. God would want
That's
every
what-
time you
they
lie,
stopped
baby
doing
Jesus
that.
cries.
they stopped doing that because they figured out kids that are going to college or tend to be curious people. And
They must hate that.
yeah. I had told you I had a story when
Yeah.
I first moved to Brooklyn. I had a roommate. We're still friends, and she worked for a TV magazine. And they used to, back in the day, kids, when they had lots of newspapers everywhere, they would have a Sunday.
Your parents.
Ask your parents about it. They had a weekend section, and in the weekend section, they had their own like TV guide type of thing.
Yeah.
And so she would go on these press junkets and meet people. And I always thought, because had some bullshit job, I was like, oh my God, it's so glamorous and stuff. And she came back once from a trip, and it was back when it was the WB, not the CW. But Kurt had a comedy sitcom with his wife, Chelsea. And she interviewed him, and she said, like, so, what's your plan? What if the show doesn't work? What are you going to do? And he was like, it's going to work. It's going to be great. It's going to be huge. We're going to be doing this for years. And she tried to talk to him, and she said he was such an empty shell of a human being
Yeah.
that she felt her soul leave her body. Like,
Oh my
it
God.
was so demoralizing. She came home, she turned in her notice, and she went to law school.
Damn.
Kirk Cameron sent my roommate to law school. Like, she just was like, so.
The Lord says my show will be great.
She said he had this big smile on his face, but like there was nothing behind his eyes. It's going to be a hit. It's going to be great. It's going to run for years. She's like, but what if
nobody will be left behind?
He also would take a banana. He and Ray Comfort take a banana to show like this is why evolution doesn't work, because bananas are shaped for hands. Like,
yeah, it's
why do pineapples exist then?
I watched the video and like I was like, this is really dirty. Like you could actually put like music over it, and I'm like, what is he doing to that banana?
You think for a second he's going to put a condom on it. Like
I 100% thought that. I was like, where the fuck is this going? Again, thank you, Fundy Friday, for watching all this stuff, because she had all kinds of clips in her video that allowed me to see some of this stuff without me fucking up my algorithm too much. Appreciate you. Link
I just
in the show
realized,
notes.
Sonia, I just realized we're doing this on Good Friday.
We're the worst. We're gonna burn, baby, burn. Just gonna burn out.
Sonia, my friend, are you ready to hear about a non-creep?
These girls are on fire. Yeah, I'm ready for a non-creep. Give it to me.
All right, everybody. So if you subscribe to our show, you know we put out 2 bonus episodes a month, and we mentioned this on our latest bonus episode, but this guy is so great that I was like, you know what, I'm going to put him to this show because it makes perfect sense. We were talking about somebody who was a kid actor, you know, had a young audience, young fans, and then he grows up into his 50s and he's a fucking lunatic. You wouldn't want him near your children. Mm-hmm. The opposite of that is Stephen Michael Burns. He was the lead on Blue's Clues.
Adorable show. I know we already said adorable. Everybody drink. Adorable.
I just went, okay, I never saw it because, like, I don't have kids, but you were saying your niece was totally in the audience for this show. 1996 is when it came out?
Yeah, when Lorelai, so this would have been like early 2000s when we were watching it, but it is so cute. So cute.
So there's a special on about Nickelodeon specifically, but I'm sure it's called Quiet on the Set, and it was about actors, young actors being abused, kids being abused, children at Nickelodeon, which was this cable station created just for kids. We understand there's a lot more out there. We'll probably get more documentaries about it, but this is specifically about Nickelodeon. This is why I also picked it, because I didn't understand, Sonia, that this was a Nickelodeon show. It was with Nick Jr.
Yes.
In the 90s, Congress, this is when Clinton was in the White House, Congress was passing all these bills about we need to protect the children. We need to have television for kids. So they needed to have a certain number of hours a week where it was educational. And Nickelodeon did not like educational. Nickelodeon was like, that's not what we do.
No, they wanted to slime people. They wanted to do Double Dare.
Right. And look, we all need playtime. We all need downtime.
For sure.
Which I get. For sure. But they came up with this idea for Blue's Clues. And what was the name of his character?
What was his name? Steve?
Steve. So Steve was living in this, like, it's an animated world. And then the dog is named Blue. And then the dog
and is animated too.
He's animated. And then, and he would put his paw on something and that would be a clue. And you had to figure out the clue. So it's Blue's Clues.
Yes.
He was a musician. He, was a young guy. This was his first, like, kind of a big gig for him. He's from Boyertown, Pennsylvania, and he starts doing Blues Clues. Excuse me. It's hard to say that fast.
I want to go on a blues cruise.
I definitely do. He instantly became a star, and the kids loved him.
Yeah.
So today I just saw for the first time, I went on YouTube to look up classic Blues Clues. And there's one today, and it's a birthday party. And so it's a birthday hunt, because today's my birthday. I'm like, I'm going to fucking watch the shit out of this.
I'm going to crush this mystery.
Crush this mystery. It's so cute.
Right?
This is
So
something
cute.
I could watch with my kids or have it on in the background and not be annoyed.
Yes.
Like it's
Yes. Trust me, I watched a lot of TV with Lorelai when she was a baby because
when was she born?
she was born in 2002.
Okay.
So we watched a lot of Blue's Clues and The Wiggles.
Yes.
And Yo Gabba
Barney?
Gabba or whatever. Like and she loved Barney too. And here's the thing, like Barney's boring AF for adults. There's nothing about Barney. There's a whole documentary about Barney, by the way, that you can watch on, I think that one's on Hulu too. Barney is fine. Like for kids, it's fine. But there's nothing for adults, like not even visually.
Right.
Blue's Clues is at least like visually interesting. It's super cute.
And he's really good. He's like a really good host because he's working with a blue screen on his Blue's Clues. I don't know. He's just super engaging. He did the show for a while and he got a little tired of it. He decided to go to college. He wanted to just do other things. He was a musician. He started out as a musician. So they recast him and we have this documentary that comes out and he just goes on TikTok and he lived in, I didn't realize that he lived in Williamsburg, Brooklyn. Like he just recently moved to the Catskills, I think during COVID. But he went on TikTok and said, "Hey guys, it's me. How are you? Are you okay?" And all these kids, these are people who were kids when he was like Lorelai's
they grew
age.
up with him.
They grew up with him. And he's such a big part of like, it's like the Muppet Show for me. Like it's like that was like it was
Or
comfort.
recently, Elmo posted something that was like,
Right.
"How's he doing?" And people were like, Elmo. Like,
It's Mr.
Like,
Rogers. I can't watch that Mr. Rogers movie because I know it'll be a gut punch. I mean,
I know.
Because you learned about empathy from them, and you learned about, and it was also fun, and it's just like a joyous part of your childhood. And, and he was a big deal to kids.
Yeah.
And so he goes on and says, "How are you? What are you doing? What's going on?" And he just sat for 1 minute saying nothing, and just read the responses. Because he legitimately cared what the responses were going to be.
Yeah.
And a lot of people wrote and said, "Thank you. Thank you so much. This is just what I needed. This is hard." There's so many ways that, these kids that were groomed on the show, they're people now that realize I felt like I was groomed as well. Because they were training us to think certain things were appropriate and funny and totally okay, which it turns out, no, it wasn't.
Yes, it's a hard thing to sit with.
And he's just is like that bridge. Like he's a Gen Xer, but that can talk to Gen Z. I guess it's Gen Z. And he just was so open and loving. And it was just like so beautiful of a moment. And it kind of took off everywhere. Unfortunately, Paramount has decided to drop Blue's Clues from their streaming service. They dropped almost all of their kids programming from Paramount Plus, which is run by Brian Robbins, who used to be great friends with Dan Schneider.
Oh.
I don't know if it's coincidental. I don't know if it was something they were planning on doing anyway. All the streamers are cutting back on their content for sure, or they're swallowing each other up.
Yeah, but
I'm now super bummed that because there was another host after him that went on for the show for a while. Like there was this great show that I'm sure kids wanted to, wanted to show their children. Like this is something I loved when I was your age. Maybe you'll dig it too. And, and now like we all have to go back to buying DVDs or something because this shit happens.
Yeah, I watched a whole bunch of old like Sesame Street episodes with Calvin when he was a baby. They were so fun. Like they hold up. Blue's Clues would definitely still hold up. There's nothing in it that I would imagine wouldn't hold up. I don't know why that should, like something like All That, they're like that would not hold up. It's
dated.
Yeah, it's super dated.
When you watch old Saturday Night Live sketches, you're like, what? It's like, especially, I'm sorry, but especially the original cast, like 75, 76, some of that shit's just
there's
like,
a whole a whole bunch of it is like, who's Gerald Ford? Like,
right.
like, that's not going to work for you. But like, Blue's Clues, come on.
Yeah.
Come on.
I should say also he does a lot of voiceover work, and he is the voice of Snickers. Really satisfies advertising campaign. That stuff pays coins, so good for you,
yes,
Steve Burns.
it does.
That's our non-creep this week, Steve Burns.
Good job, my friend. There's a whole like voiceover
I would
section
love to do that.
of TikTok, by the way, like a whole bunch of them, like E.G. Daily is on TikTok, and she's like, I'm a voice actor. Of course, I do this or whatever. And they're showing all their clips of things they've done. It's amazing to see all the people that voice the things that you see all the time, but don't think about who the voice is.
It's a tough business to get into, by the way. It's super competitive.
I would love to do it.
I would love to do it too. My nasally voice. Ugh. Anyway.
You have a great voice. I won't stand for this slander about my friend, especially on her birthday.
It's Aries weather, y'all. Let's all embrace it. Okay, that's the show today.
Yes.
Thank you so much for listening. As I hinted before, we co-host another podcast, and it's called Dorking Out, where we dork out about movies. We just covered Boiler Room.
Oh my gosh, that was so fun.
So fun. And I've never had this many responses, like positive responses, especially from men our age that are just finding us. Like they're like, oh. Yeah. So thank you.
Yeah.
I don't know if they'll stick around for this one. What are we covering next, Sonia?
We are going to do, by request, Muriel's Wedding. You're terrible, Muriel.
You're terrible, Muriel.
I'm really looking forward to this one because I haven't watched it in a little while. And I know that there are parts that are really sad, but there's also parts that, like, Muriel is a great character, and I can't wait to watch it.
And Toni Collette and Rachel Griffiths are so amazing, and they look great together. The ABBA music alone is enough to woo me over. So that's what we're covering next. That'll be the next episode. As I said at the top of the show, all those places you could follow us. You could send us your suggestions for creeps, but also non-creeps. Non-creeps especially because we sometimes have a really hard time coming up with someone. Someone is so freaking creepy. We get whiplash.
Yeah.
Our email, once again, is whatacreeppodcast@gmail.com. Sonia, where can they find you?
You can find me at The Sonia Show everywhere. That's Sonia with an I. I'm on Twitter. I'm on the Threads, the Blue Sky, the TikTok, wherever you want to be. I'm there like a psycho. Where can people find you, Margot?
I'm on the TikTok at Brooklyn Margot. That's also for Twitter. Everything else, Threads, Instagram, and my site, it's Brooklyn Fit Chick, because I used to teach fitness. I don't anymore, but I made a choice, and now I'm stuck with it. All right, y'all. Thank you so much for listening. God bless you this holiday weekend.
Yes. Yes.
Jesus
Pray for us.
Be nice, be kind. Go get those eggs. Don't be a creep.
Be a creep. Thank you for listening to us talk about creeps. You can follow us at What a Creep Podcast on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram.
But don't follow us too closely.
You can email us your creepy stories at whatacreeppodcast@gmail.com.
But please keep your dick pics to yourself.